So you know that you need to work out in order for you to get fit, but the problem is that you don't have all day to spend inside the gym. Now, I personally cut my gym time in half and got into better shape using this workout tactic. And now I teach it to all of the clients that I coach because it gets better results in less time. So there's this training methodology called counter sets, which solves the biggest problem that most men have when it comes to working out. And that problem is, of course, not having enough time to spend in the gym and doing workouts. Now, if you don't implement some element of counter sets into your workouts, then the chances of you getting and staying fit over a long period of time are basically zero unless you can afford to spend 2 to 3 hours in the gym on a regular basis. Now, before I show you exactly what counter sets are and how you can implement them into your workouts, it's crucial that you understand the guiding principles that you need for counter sets, because doing the right thing the wrong way isn't going to get you results. Now, the first principle or rule that you need to make sure you have in place for you to implement counter sets is that you decrease your workout quantity. Now, here's why that's so important. Say that this vertical line represents muscle growth and this horizontal line represents time in the gym. Now, if you don't spend any time in the gym, then you're not going to get any muscle growth. But the more time that you spend in the gym, the more muscle growth you get up until a certain point, after which more time in the gym does not lead to more muscle growth. So what you want to do if you're going to implement counter sets is you want to find the sweet spot where you spend the least amount of time in the gym, but you gain the most amount of muscle. And then you want to avoid training beyond that sweet spot. So for some people, the sweet spot might be at 4 hours per week. Others, you might only need 3 hours per week if you follow the second thing that I'm about to tell you. And the second thing you've got to make sure you're doing if you want to implement counter sets the right way is you've got to increase your workout quality. Now, here's what I mean by this. I'm not going to go into weird philosophical and theoretical discussions about what a good quality workout looks like, because the reality is you only need 2 things in your workouts to make sure that they're high quality. Now, the first and by far easiest way to improve workout quality is to just follow good form. The amount of people I've seen in the gym that don't have good form when they're doing their workouts is unbelievable. You're doing the exercise, you're at the gym, you've done the hard part, which is to show up. Why are you wasting your time swinging around a bunch of weight without any intention? This is one of those things where when I see people following bad form in the gym, it genuinely pisses me off, because you've already done the hard part. You've shown up, might as well make the most out of it. And this is exactly why I'm building in-depth guides about form for exercises that I recommend that you do inside of my Minimalist fitness program that you can join by clicking the link in the description. Now that I've had my little rant, it's important that I just tell you the truth and be real. Here's the fact of the matter, right? Most people that want to get fit never get their gym membership and never actually commit to fitness. But out of the small group of people that actually make the leap and get a gym membership and show up consistently, very few of them actually do the right stuff in the gym, which is why even people who show up to the gym consistently as their New Year's resolution eventually give up, because they don't see any results, which is because they're not doing the right stuff in the gym. So the next time that you're doing an exercise in the gym, no matter what exercise you do, keep in mind the form of the exercise. Are you doing this exercise to hit the targeted muscle, or are you just moving weight aimlessly? The second thing you can do to increase the quality of your workouts, now this is not so much easy, but it is very simple, and that is to simply increase the intensity, come on, marker, increase the intensity of your workouts. Notice that exclamation mark there? That is me screaming at you to train harder. Now, training harder is actually not complicated at all. Whenever you feel a burning sensation in your muscles and you feel a sense of discomfort, do another 2 to 3 reps. Just because you feel discomfort doesn't mean that you stop the set, because real growth never comes from comfort. Now, chances are you might have been paying attention when I was talking about form, but as soon as I started talking about intensity, you pretty much wrote off what I was saying, didn't you? Because most people are genuinely convinced that they're training hard when in reality they are not. Now, this isn't an official statistic, but I'm willing to bet that over 85 to 90% of people that go to the gym leave more than 4 to 5 reps in the tank. And I know this because I see people train on a daily basis. And I can count on the fingers of one hand the amount of people I've seen training with enough intensity to actually gain muscle. And guess what? The people that I have seen train with enough intensity go on to build loads of muscle and avoid spending a shitload of time in the gym. Once you decrease the quantity of your workouts and increase the quality of your workouts by focusing on your form and training intensity, you are now ready to learn what counter sets are. And I hope you didn't just totally write off everything I said before explaining what counter sets are, because even if you implement counter sets after learning about them and after I teach you how to implement them, if you don't have those core principles down, you are not going to be able to reduce gym time and get results. So counter setting is an exercise technique where you pair exercises for two muscle groups that are counteractive. So here's what I mean when I say counteractive muscle groups, although the word is pretty self-explanatory. So if I'm doing a set of chin-ups, I might counterset it with a set of bench pressing. So my muscles involved in chin-ups are my back and my biceps. These are going to help me pull. Now, when I do the bench press, the muscles involved are going to be my shoulders, my chest, and my triceps. These are going to help me push. So I'm going to counterset a pulling movement with a pushing movement, and I'm going to counterset a pushing movement with a pulling movement. Either way, the order in which you do them doesn't really matter. It's just as long as the muscles are counteractive, the purpose is fulfilled. Now, the reason that I say little to no rest instead of just no rest is because you might want to catch your breath after a set of chin-ups depending upon what your cardio is like, but you don't want your cardio to be the limiting factor when you do these exercises. So a little bit of rest is fine. Just make sure that you don't overdo it, since the whole purpose of us doing this counter set method is to save time. Now, if you've decided to implement counter sets into your workouts, here are some do's and don'ts that you need to follow, because again, doing the right thing the wrong way isn't going to get you good results. So do not pair two taxing or tiring movements when you do counter sets. Now, what do I mean by that? So a taxing or tiring movement that involves your pushing muscles would be the barbell back squat. Here's what not to do. Even though it is a pushing movement, you don't want to pair it with another pulling movement that's very tiring. For example, the Romanian deadlift. Although they're both targeting counteractive muscle groups, they're tiring enough by themselves. If you do a set of RDLs, you're gonna be pretty taxed and tired. If you do a set of barbell back squats the right way, you're gonna be tired. You don't want to pair them up together. It's not going to work out well for you. And by the time you're done with 3 sets of each exercise, you're going to be ready to leave the gym. But the type of exercises that you almost always want to be pairing up together when you do counter sets are isolation exercises. So I don't understand why you wouldn't counter set your bicep curls with a tricep extension. Even if you're doing an intense set, you can do a set of bicep curls, even if it's really intense. Rest for 30 seconds, do a set of tricep extensions. It's going to save you so much time. I just don't understand why more people don't do it. So those are just a few of the many things that you've got to keep in mind if you're going to implement counter sets in your workouts and make them more efficient. So those are just a few of the many things that you've got to do to make your workouts shorter and more efficient so that you can spend less time in the gym. Now, if you want to learn even more about how you can get fitter by reducing your gym time, you can click the top link in the description and join my Minimalist fitness program. And if you want to watch this video about 25 lessons to help me lose fat, then you can click somewhere up here. I'll see you in the next one.